weird way of doing sex.
Not appropriate.
In this world, obsessed with kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, you got my ass full of bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to decide to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, we're so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. I just can't understand it. But could divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with a penchant for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. She rolls in a pool, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats ready to gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public demented. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, jerk off. I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, jerk off. Read into the lyrics. So let the fuzzies will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do this show live every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoPlex Media. If you're listening on the podcast, you should check out the live show sometime. Also, you can support this project, echoplexmedia.com. Click the support link at the top of the website. I recommend the merch, but you can make your own decisions. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave, and this, as always, is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't hate the cops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Thank your local police. Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Thank your local police. Got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fearless judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job. Don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks. Don't hate the cops. 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 Don't hate the cops.
All right, so our first story, because I didn't know where to put it on the docket, there's this podcast that's been kind of like making, like a lot of clips of it are making the rounds in sort of lefty, like Blue Sky and Twitter, like sort of areas, I suppose. And I just thought I'd show you a little bit of it. I was thinking about maybe watching an episode sometime on stream, but I don't know if I can sit through it. Anyway, this is a podcast. It looks like millennials, like maybe elder millennials or like millennial grown, kids are talking to their MAGA parents about the world around them. And it's pretty fucking crazy.
No, it's because you're in a cult.
What if Donald Trump says, I want you to carpet bomb Oklahoma City, kill everyone? You think the Air Force should carry that out?
Yes.
There might be a reason. We don't know.
This is insane.
You cannot be this stupid. Jesus Christ.
Oh, my. This podcast was going well until that.
You just said it's cool if he levels Oklahoma. You're like, yeah, it. There must be a reason. Like, you literally can't be that dumb.
You know what the problem is? Mom and I don't believe he'll ever blow up Oklahoma. Because we're on his side and so's the whole state.
No, it's because you're in a cult.
You guys are worried and afraid because you live in a state where it might happen.
Okay, let's theoretically say that does happen. Let's say Trump sends in the Marines to Los Angeles, California, and let's say I'm out going to see a movie on a weekend, and he says, go into that shopping mall.
Under a truck.
Quiet piggy. He says, go into that shopping mall and kill everyone you see. And let's say I get gunned down by the Marines for just being at a mall.
Okay, number one,
All for
let's just take
Okay,
it
Dad,
one step
wait a minute,
further.
Mom, wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Dad, hang on, Mom. Dad, you just said you are for Donald Trump murdering me for no reason, and you would support that.
If he walks into a mall to people with military,
There has to be a reason.
there's a reason. And I'm all for it. And the people in Los Angeles, California are as deserving of execution as the assholes in New York City. You're all communists.
What the yo, that's like a real podcast where like it looks like millennial kids are talking to their like fucking cooked ass MAGA parents. I don't know. We might have to watch a whole episode of that sometime because that shit is wild. That shit is wild, dude. So I didn't know where to put that. I almost put it in red light, but I was like, maybe we'll open the show with it. open the show with it. It's tough out there. It's hard out there in some people. I'm lucky my family's not insane. So the ICE shooting, according to Gutfeld, the shooting of Ms. Good, was it was a setup. It was a setup. The only thing that went wrong is the people that set it up, I guess, were hoping it was a black lady or something. Anyway, here's Gutfeld. Here's Gutfeld being a dumb fuck.
Why are there so many liberal white women who instead of spending time with their kids are risking their lives and breaking the law, for strangers who are here illegally? The real compassion comes from the people who've been pointing this out, who've been warning that this is going to happen. It doesn't matter to the people that clearly it's not going to change the mind of people on the left. You can show them any video they want. They're going to sit there and just meticulously do all this stuff. Oh, but did you see this? Oh, but you did that. Did you see that? Then you show them another video. Don't waste your breath. They are selling you a lie. It's been around forever. This was all a setup. It may not have been her. Maybe they were hoping for a black woman, probably. It would have been better if it was believe me, they are not unhappy this mother is dead.
Wait, what?
Used. The goal was to get somebody killed, create a spectacle that explodes. So you have riots, so you have protests, and hopefully, in some minds, revolution. A lot of these people, they're not against ICE. They're against all law enforcement.
These are the same people who were like calling for the overthrow of the government, like during COVID, because you were being asked to wear a mask and shit. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. Like, the white women. I have some hypotheses, not fully baked hypothesis, but I have some ideas as to maybe they may actually be targeting white women for like a specific reason, but it's not fully baked in my head right now. Like what I'm saying, like I'm sorry, by they I mean like ICE. ICE may be specifically looking at going after white liberal women for some reason or another. It's not fully baked in my head, so I'm not gonna like really get into it right now. I want to bounce it off a couple people before I start running my mouth acting like I know what the fuck's going on. Anyway, did you know that white liberal women fucking smug?
There's a weird kind of smugness, by the way, in the way that some of these liberal white women interact with authority. Most guys learn early in life that every confrontation has a sort of escalation chain. A joke, a push, an argument can eventually turn to violence. We spend a lifetime reading the signs, knowing when we're getting close, knowing when to pull back, knowing when we're on the edge of violence. These protesters, they seem completely oblivious, or they think they have a hall pass to the possibility that blocking cops or using their cars as barricades could end violently. Tragically, but violently.
Smug white women don't know that violence happens. This is amazing. Jordan Peterson used to say a version of that, right? Like he's like, we have this on the soundboard, right? We have this clip of him on the soundboard that's like,
I know how to stand up to a man.
And that was in the context of him saying, well, basically if you're arguing with or you're having a conflict with a man, it could come to fisticuffs. But that he is, maybe lamenting the fact that he can't just like punch a woman in the face or something. But that he said that like if a man was in a some kind of conflict or confrontation with a woman, that it's unfortunate essentially that there was no chance of fisticuffs because now nobody knows the rules. And so now Fox is going down that fucking Jordan Peterson rabbit hole. This white lady right here, she's probably too smug. Actually, her story is terrifying and bad, but also they would probably call her smug. This woman was abducted by ICE, and she got out and had this to say.
My name is Patty O'Keefe. On Sunday, this past Sunday, January 11th, myself and my good friend Brandon Seguenza were violently arrested and detained by ICE. During that encounter, we had an ICE agent spray pepper spray into our windshield vent. They then broke our windows, dragged us out of our vehicles, handcuffed us, and put us in separate cars. On the way over to the Whipple Detention Center, I was taunted, mocked. Also, on that same ride, one of the agents said that You guys got to stop obstructing us. That's why that lesbian bitch is dead. Speaking about Renee Good, I think it's important, though, that people know that this is what agents are saying. When we got to the detention center, we saw probably about 100 people in holding cells. We heard screaming, crying, just visceral agony from many of the people who were there. You know, someone saying, let me go, let me go, let me go, please let me go, begging. We heard a child crying. My friend Brandon was brought into another room for questioning where he was offered money or legal protection for any undocumented family members that he might have in exchange for names of other undocumented people or names of protest organizers, a bribe, essentially. And another person in his cell, a Hispanic man, was offered that same deal. They both said no. I had a short conversation with a Border Patrol agent who, you know, was wondering why we were here, why we were so passionate about this. And at the end of it, he goes, you know, I think, you know, I kind of just think that we thought all you guys are crazy, right? And so you have people that are desensitized or okay with dehumanization and also think that people that are out here trying to defend their neighbors are crazy. And that's a really dangerous combination. And I think that is coming across in the way that we see that ICE officers are conducting themselves with people across the city. So I am just one example of many. I luckily got to come home from that detention center. And most of the people there did not. This is craziness and it needs to come to an end.
Hell yeah, it's crazy. And it does need to stop. This is absurd. This is insane. And I'm not surprised that they're like telling people, hey, you know, that we killed that one lady and we'll kill you too if you don't fucking get the fuck out of our way. Absolutely. I'm not surprised. So here is a Bovino, who we found out recently is like 4'9" or something, which, I mean, I don't know. Shout out to our short kings, but this is not a king. This is a short joker. But he's like, hats off to the agent who killed Renee Good. So I'm like, whatever.
Oh, I could see that, but you know what? The rhetoric keeps getting ratcheted up, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And you know, now we've had an opportunity to look at that video. There is no ambiguity for anyone with eyes to see that the individual that ended up getting shot in this case had been taunting officers along with her partner for an extended period.
Wait a minute. Now it's because she was taunting them
of time, and then you hear her partner say to drive. She goes in reverse and right in the path of an officer. Now, is that justified use of force? To me, that it's not even a close call.
My question on this, you know, how do you justify those second and third shots? Like, let's say I don't think you could justify the first one, but how do you justify the second and third one when he was clearly clear of the car and just blatted her at fucking point blank range through the open window?
Sean, we call that means, intent, and opportunity. Did that individual have the intent? Look at those minutes leading up to the shooting, and we will see what I would consider some pretty important intent. Did that individual have the opportunity? Yes. Did that individual take that opportunity? Yes. A 4,000-pound missile is not something anyone wants to face, especially
4,000-pound missile
decision-making process in a very already inhospitable environment.
The problem, they keep showing this, but you can't see what happened there in that fucking video. Like, it looks like he took a step toward the fucking car as the car was driving off to the side. Who knows, man?
To that ICE agent.
And from the other angles, you can't really see because there's like another agent, I guess, blocking. So the moment where the car may or may not have, I would assume, grazed the guy because she was driving off to the side, you can't see it. Nobody can see that. There's no clear footage of that exact instant.
I'm glad he made it out alive. I'm glad he's with his family.
Hats off to him. Like, it's crazy. They're glad this happened. They're glad this happened, right? They can say, well, you better, because they just like the lady in the clip before was saying that they can just tell the other like protesters, if they scoop up or whatever. Oh, you know, we killed that one lady. and you better be careful, which is probably more what's going on here. So here's the president. The president's going to be like, hey, they were being highly disrespectful of law enforcement. But like, I don't know, they're American citizens. To them, ICE isn't law enforcement, but whatever.
Do you believe that deadly force was necessary after watching all the footage a few days have passed? What's your assessment there?
It was highly disrespectful of law enforcement. The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement. You saw that. They were harassing, they were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators.
But just disrespect.
And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out who's paying for it.
But just disrespect.
With their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other friends were doing to law enforcement, not just ICE, law enforcement is outrageous.
Well, fuck other law enforcement agencies, but did those people have any fucking beef with any other law enforcement agencies that were going around fucking Minneapolis at the time? I don't think so. But friends, we're to the point now, as always happens when a protest movement starts. Now they're paid protesters, actually. These are paid agitators, probably paid by fucking George Soros or some other Jewish person, I don't know. And they're paid agitators. This is a panel on CNN where somebody's going to make that claim.
It.
My pleasure.
So one of the things that's interesting to me is hearing a protester on the street, because what they say echoes something we see on social media. The perception that the way ICE is operating feels unusual, feels sort of scary to them. I don't know what your feed is like, so I'd love to get your point of view.
Well, first of all, it's a tragic situation what's happening in general in Minnesota. And the genesis of my opinion is the fact that you have a criminal element that was let out of jail back into the community. It's incredibly frustrating.
Meaning who?
Meaning that persons who are here illegally also broke the law, in many cases, not just violent crimes, sometimes sexual battery against children, etc. These ICE agents are there to remove them from the community because the leadership there won't. These are called sanctuary cities.
But the protests, in fact, it seem to be spreading because of the shooting of Renee Good.
I says, what's the genesis of the issue? Mm-hmm. We have sanctuary cities right now that allow these criminals to run in the streets. And the goal should be to extract them. This is the same thing done under Republican and Democrat prior administrations, but you have these issues where you have a mayor who is so politically let's just say involved, that he thinks it's a good idea to put these folks in the middle of all this. We're just talking with your panelist. My father's a former FBI agent. I always respected law enforcement in general, but the other part of this is if there's a situation where a law enforcement officer is in the process of arresting a violent criminal, the last thing you want to be is in the middle of that action. And so,
would your father have used a chokehold on people or shot at a window at 90 degrees?
Well, I think, first of all, let's focus on why they're there. They're there because the law enforcement in that community will not keep a person in jail who's committed a violent act or a sexual act against a child. Look at the arrest records of Lincoln.
That's not who ICE is actually arresting these days.
This is Garrett Graff. Sorry.
Okay. I think one of the things that is important is ICE is a 20-year-old agency at this point. It was able to do this work under Republican and Democratic administrations, even the first Trump administration, while maintaining the moral legitimacy with the public. There is something that has changed in this last year in the way that ICE is sort of randomly grabbing people off the street. CBP,
well, let's let him answer that. Do you see a difference, given, as he said, the experience the agency does have doing this work without this chaos?
Well, I think what we're seeing a lot of is that you're seeing a lot of paid protesters who are creating a lot of this chaos. Again, with the tragic situation, I think it is tragic what happened to that young lady who was killed recently in Minneapolis. But she put herself right in the middle of the action. I think that is the general thing. The other thing that I also think about, these ICE agents who are, quote, doing their job, they have husbands and wives who are worried about them when they go to work, and they're
okay, so when this paid fucking agitator thing happens, it is behold, it is whether you are, you lean right or you lean left or whatever. If you're supposed to be like on the news doing a panel with people, it is beholden on you to stop and be like, how do you know that there are paid protesters at these events? Where did you get this information from? Because they just let it go every time. Every time these fuckers go on the news and say that, they just let it go. They're just like, oh, okay. They don't say shit back to them. And, like, be rude and interrupt them, and just be like, how do you know this? Where did you get this information? Like, you don't have to tell them they're wrong. You just be like, how do you know this? And they go, it's common knowledge. And you might just say something like, well, I don't know this. How do you know it? What do you mean it's common knowledge? Anyway, I don't know if you know this, but they're practicing. The paid agitators, they go to hotels and they practice paid agitation in a hotel, I guess. I don't know. This is the president of the United States. Who knows what the fuck he's thinking?
And one of the reasons they're doing these fake riots, I mean, they're just terrible. I mean, you see it's so fake. Shame, shame, shame. You see the woman, that's all practice. They go practice. They go to areas, they take hotel rooms and they all practice together. It's a whole scam. We're finding out who's funding all this stuff, too. We pretty much know. But in conclusion, as we liberate our country from this cultural scourge and the plague of corruption and fraud, we'll rediscover the natural energy and native spirit that truly makes America great again, like we're doing with Detroit and Michigan.
Oh, man, he probably not super welcome in Detroit right now. My God, wait a minute. That's crazy because he was calling Detroit a shithole, like just like fucking a few months ago or a few weeks ago. Now he's like, oh, the great city of Detroit. You know where he ain't sending ice? Fucking Detroit. Like, Minneapolis is, it's a big city or whatever, but Detroit is a whole vibe. And I don't think he's sending the goon squad to Detroit ever. Also, like Oakland, he ain't sending no goon squad to fucking Oakland either. Oh, friends, they're not just practicing in hotels or paid protesters. They're insurrectionists, according to Stephen Miller. Insurrectionists, I tell you.
But well, I guess I'll just go back full circle and say that in Minnesota right now, the insurrectionists have come out of hiding. They're confronting our officers on the street. They're being arrested. This is a national security priority. More arrests of insurrectionists are being made every day, and each of those arrests then provides an opportunity to learn more about the network from a law enforcement and national security standpoint.
Dude, if you are arrested by ICE, Homeland Security, if you're arrested by anybody, what you do is you shut the whole entire fuck up. They're like, we'll let you go if you give us this information. You're like, I need a lawyer. They'll just fucking lie to you, man. Especially if they think you're afraid, they will lie to you. Oh, we're gonna actually let you go if you just tell us, like, who organized the protest. Where exactly did you find out about this protest? Who's this person in this video? And then you dumbass fucking tell them, and then they don't let you go. So I don't know if you know this, but the honking of horns should not be tolerated. If you honk your horn at ICE, they should blat you.
Rhetoric we've heard from your colleagues now for months. Is the anti-ICE platform an agenda item now for Democrats?
Well, whatever's next, they will jump on that too. But I think the point that's well made is that these people who are out trying to obstruct federal law enforcement doing their job have created a new scenario, not just for the administration, but also for the American people. And this protesting that goes on, honking of horns, obstructing federal law enforcement should not be tolerated. And it is my hope that
honking of horns honking of horns should not be tolerated. The beatings will continue until morale improves.
Who are in ICE will continue to keep their cool about what they do, but I will tell you that they are being put in a difficult circumstance. Mm-hmm. Just have someone put an iPhone on your face and follow you around and yell and scream at you, and nobody
has cause to do that to me.
that becomes a real problem. But doing their job, honking your horns, following people is something that must not be tolerated. And I stand completely with the administration on this effort.
Honking of horns. Following people around and honking your horn should not be tolerated. Like now the level, right, of what they're going to be telling you is violent and is cause for a violent response from the shock troops. We're just going to start seeing that creep down, right? We're going to start seeing that creep way down. I think that's the thing we're going to see in the next couple months. If this continues, if like they move on to another city, or if they just keep terrorizing Minneapolis in the way they have, the threshold for what kind of thing you have to do for them to assume that you're doing a terrorism. Pretty soon, it's just going to be like, did you give the ICE agent a dirty look? Did you tell the ICE agent to get out of your business? Right? These kinds of things are going to now be considered like insurrection by these people. It's going to be pretty bad. Remember this story from last week about this 6-year-old who was in or 6-month-old, sorry, who was in a car that they shot flashbangs either at or into. Well, as the guy, was trying to leave, according to his own, I don't know, if you got a 6-month-old baby and like ICE comes to your neighborhood, or maybe you're at your friend's house or something, and you're getting the fuck out of there, right? You're not going to engage ICE with a fucking 6-month-old baby. So, but what was this? Were they doing there anyway? The problem is like that. Who fucking cares? Like, what do you mean? What were they doing there? They were somewhere, and then ICE showed up, and the guy was trying to leave. But here, this guy, like that 6-month-old baby, was probably up to no good.
And to counter that, though, the liberal media is trying to go out and tell like the most insanely here about this 6-month-old who unfortunately got tear gassed by ICE.
Flashbangs, not tear gas. The 6-month-old who unfortunately got tear gassed by ICE. Motherfucker, how does this happen? What do you mean? Like, just wrong place at the wrong time, wrong place, wrong time, wrong 6-month-old. Like, what the fuck?
Well, like, that sucks, but why was the 6-month-old even exposed or near tear gas in the first place?
I thought it was a flashbang.
I mean, this has become such a problem that people are using their children as political pawns, that DHS had to tweet this out. We told you about this the other. Do not bring your baby to a violent riot. The fact that you have to tell someone that, you should be...
Hold on. So the way this was being told is that ICE showed up in a neighborhood, and I believe the guy's version of the story. I do. I think that he, after something traumatic happens, you're not going to have like total recall or whatever, but I believe the guy's version of the story. I don't know. The guy was, had business, was minding his business. Maybe he was at his own fucking house. I don't remember, but he was in the neighborhood, and then ICE showed up and he was trying to leave, and then they flashbanged his car. If you saw the video of where it happened, it was like a neighborhood. Like, people are there. There are babies in that neighborhood because it's a place where people fucking live. So there's like, it's not like this guy brought his fucking baby anywhere, so far as I could tell. The motherfucker, poor guy, like he had fucking kids in the car, and he was trying to get the fuck out of there because the fucking Gestapo was there, and then they flashbanged his car, and all of his kids ended up in the hospital. And then ICE is like, don't bring your baby to a riot. It's like, well, you're the ones rioting. Don't bring your fucking riot. Don't bring your fucking riot to my neighborhood. My God. I don't know if you know this, everybody, but if you want to protest this, if you want to do so peacefully, you should write a letter to the editor, or maybe get a Substack. This is how you protest now. You may only protest on Substack.
You peacefully protest in the town square. You peacefully protest with a letter to the editor. You
Are they committing violence right now?
You peacefully protest by starting a
letter to
Substack
the
or
editor?
a podcast.
Starting a podcast?
Hold on. No, wait a minute. You cannot
Brad,
interfere
there are
with.
A lot. We've been in this country now in the midst of protests of all forms for a long time. We have seen protests in this country that don't stop at a letter to the editor. Okay, you see in the history of this country peaceful, justified protests in which people put their lives and their bodies on the line. They leave their homes, they go and do something that officials tell them is unlawful, sitting at a segregated counter, crossing a bridge. People have been doing that in this country for a long time. That is also
civil disobedience is honored.
Listen,
it's honored.
Civil disobedience is peaceful protest.
Imagine having to explain to this motherfucker that civil disobedience is a form of peaceful protest. Like, peaceful doesn't mean compliance, right? A peaceful protest, you could not comply with what they believe are lawful orders, right? I would suggest to you that fucking up property isn't necessarily unpeaceful, right? I mean, you could breaking windows and shit. People could get hurt. Like, I understand. It's not good optics. If it's to the point where you're actually burning down the city, things have gone pretty badly. Like, things are already pretty far down a particular kind of road. But this guy doesn't, when he says peaceful protest, what he means is compliance, right? This motherfucker's like, write a letter to the editor, start a Substack, do a podcast. This isn't protesting, motherfuckers. I'm here talking about this stuff, and I hope it like getting through to some people somewhere, somehow, or whatever. But if the shock troops come to fucking Oakland, I ain't gonna fucking be doing my protesting on the fucking podcast. I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. I'm gonna have to go out in the street. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm getting old. I'm fucking injured pretty easily now, but I'm gonna have to do it because that's what you got to do. Writing a letter to the editor of the fucking Oakland Tribune isn't gonna help. The editor of the Oakland Tribune would be well aware of what's going on by the time my letter arrives. So, warrants, we don't need no stinking warrants. This same CNN panel was tragic this week.
Minneapolis, and creating upheaval in a community. And in some cases, in this case, there's an argument to be made that they didn't even have a warrant to break down the door.
They know an illegal alien lives there, though, yes?
It is performative.
Okay, and?
It's like, come on.
Abby, you and I just have a fundamental disagreement. I think illegal immigration law should be enforced, and you don't.
We don't have a fundamental disagreement on that. We actually have a fundamental disagreement about whether or not laws should be, and constitutional rights should be followed by everybody.
Yeah, but Minneapolis isn't following that.
By immigrants and also by the law enforcement.
What about immigrants?
Okay, let's just end with a quick question.
It's not a citizen. This is an illegal alien.
Due process isn't just for citizens, dude. The fucking Constitution and like our like laws like clearly define that like the word person is defined differently than the word citizen.
That's a cruelty issue. Just a 17-year-old boy, American citizen, they got picked up 4 hours, beat up, and thrown out.
Just a quick question.
Issue here.
American citizen. Do you think that they ought to have? Do you think that they ought to have a warrant?
What just happened? Wait, Scott, how many foreign Scott, is Donald Trump a convicted felon?
Hold on a second, Lev. Just a second. Do you think that they ought to have a warrant before breaking down a door to arrest someone?
I don't know what that guy's situation is. I know he's an illegal alien, and that's all I know about that case.
So you don't.
Do I think they need a warrant to arrest an illegal alien?
Well, let me just let you know.
Wait, they don't need a warrant. No, they need a warrant if they're going to force their way onto your property. They need a warrant. Anybody's property, yeah, they need a warrant. What is this guy talking about? Who is this guy? This guy's like been in like all these CNN. Who is this guy? What do you mean they don't need a warrant? Yeah, they do.
They do need a warrant.
So arrest an illegal alien?
In order to break down a door and enter someone's home. Okay? So
but an illegal alien is in there and they know it.
Hold on.
Don't they have suspicion then that
hold on a second.
Hold
on a second. That same man was in an ICE office a week prior.
And I know you want to find a way for him to live here happily ever after, but he's an illegal alien.
Why didn't they just arrest him in the ICE office?
This is performance.
I don't run their office. I don't run their office.
All right.
This is performance.
Who the fuck is this guy? I keep seeing this guy. He's like a new ghoul. I don't know if I've ever fucking seen him before, but fucking new ghoul just dropped. He's just like, what do you mean? There's an illegal alien in there. She's like, they need. His name is Scott Jennings. I'm getting from the chat. He's like, I don't know. There's an illegal alien. Lady's like, listen, man, you need a warrant signed by a judge to like bust down the front door of like any building. Essentially, there's exceptions for that. Like if you have if law enforcement or whatever has like reasonable suspicion, for example, that someone's in like imminent danger for their life inside the building, right? If there's a fire, If a building's obviously on fire, the authorities, be they the cops in conjunction with the fire department, don't need a warrant to fucking bust down a door and go in there and pull your fucking on fire ass out of there. But these are like limited situations. And even the fucking fucked up police don't do this very often. Right? They're really reluctant to enter a property without a warrant. They're really reluctant. That's just how it is. Or if they let them in or whatever. But like, it doesn't matter. You need a warrant to bust down somebody's front fucking door. You just need a warrant. I mean, if you're law enforcement, you need a warrant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what state you're in. It is like the Constitution has been interpreted in such a way over and over and over again. Now with our current Supreme Court, who knows? They might just change it, right? I don't know. The Supreme Court can't change the Constitution, but they'll try. They'll try. So, here's this fucking freak. Fucking Michael Flynn has some thoughts about the Insurrection Act.
I actually think that they want Trump to do that, so then they can use it as a bludgeon against him. And so the president has to be really, he's got to be really steady in imposing this if he decides to do that. And when he does it, then there's going to have to be some real clear lines of authority between him and whoever he puts in charge of it, whether it's a military organization or whether it's a Secretary of Homeland Security or some task force that's organized to, at least for this part of the country. But we cannot have this kind of unrest that is upsetting the fabric of our constitutional processes and going against federal law enforcement. I mean, they're making, and you know what's sad? The sad thing is that a lot of these federal officers that are in these areas, they actually live in these areas. They actually live there. They have their families. Many of them are young men and women who have children, and they're trying to send them to the public schools in those communities, and they're only trying to do their jobs that they have been asked to do. And I think that they do them, so professionally. Yet you're going to have this socialist communist movement of the left, and frankly, it is blended with this radicalized Islamist crowd. This is not theoretical anymore, folks. This is real, and this is what we're facing in our country. So, Terrence, I think that they want him to pull that trigger, and when they do, they'll use it as a bludgeon. So he's going to have to do it if he does it, he's going to have to do it very, very methodically, professionally, and with the right leadership.
General Flynn, then to your point, if in fact he does in fact move forward, is he going to have to clearly and publicly define the rules of engagement? It seems to me, just from the outside looking in, that's going to be the
rules of engagement. Yo, dude, this is fucking insane. They're going to start mowing down protesters.
That everybody knows what this is really all about and the rules of engagement.
Yeah, so there's two things there. One, rules of engagement are very sensitive in nature. So that's we'll use those in sort of our civilian capacity, but for a military or law enforcement, that's a very sensitive set of rules that they have to follow, and they should be protected. What we're really talking about here are what are the president's objectives? What are the objectives that he sets? And principal objective is to provide for the safety and security of the people, and to create the conditions that returns a secure neighborhood to the people that live there, right? And to return some semblance of a sense of safety, that I can walk the streets at night, I can go to the store to buy groceries, I can go down, I can go to my job. So the president's going to have to set up objectives. If he does enact this, the rules of engagement are how do we deal with whether or not we're going to fire, whether or not we're going to use things like tear gas and other stuff.
He almost said whether or not we're going to fire on people. Did you hear that? He stopped himself from saying that. But these people want desperately for fucking the goons to start shooting protesters. That's what they want.
Items to be able to control crowds. I mean, those are more sensitive in nature.
Did you hear him? He almost let the cat out of the bag there, because a lot of these people definitely want the ICE goons to just start shooting protesters. And I don't mean with rubber bullets, like what happened to the councilman. So here's Caroline Leavitt at the White House. She did a press briefing here, and somebody asked her a question she didn't like, and She responded, extremely professionally, as she is ought to do.
Thanks, Caroline. Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Nome spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 U.S. citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing.
Homegirl, she just asked his opinion. And he gave it, and she said, "How dare you give your opinion?" Did y'all catch that?
Activist, and the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed.
But wait, no, if you can name them all in just a second.
Hands of illegal aliens in this country, and the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
That was great. She was like, "What do you think happened there?" And he told her, and she was like, "How dare you tell me what you think?" Fucking horrible. Also, so she named one of the people. I think she was talking about the person I think it was Minneapolis. The person was killed on like a light rail or like a subway, right, on public transit. The person who killed her was not here without papers. The person was an immigrant, but they were, as far as I know, they were here. They had their papers. They were here legally. Shouldn't kill anybody. I don't care where the fuck you're from. Don't go around killing people. Jesus Christ. But like the fact that she was able to just, all the people, then she came up with two, one of whom isn't even, and I think that's who she was talking about, one of whom wasn't even like here without their papers. Yeah, there's violence. There's murders happen in America. Murders happen in America more than per capita, more than most other countries, because we're an extremely violent society. So, you want people to come here and integrate into our society, and then they do, and then some of them are violent. Well, I don't know. You ask me, that's just integrating into American society. Anyway, this is from a Target, and you should always heckle this Bovino guy if you see him at Target or anywhere.
Fucking bum, you're a bitch. Lift your wife and I'll probably fuck her too. You guys are all bitches. You can't do shit to me. You can't do a thing to me. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. Nobody fucking wants you here. Right, get the fuck out. Walk the fuck out, you stupid bitches. Get the fuck out of here. You dumb, the fuck out of here. You fucking coward. You're a fucking coward, bitch. You're a fucking bitch. Hold on, baby. I'm on the phone to you, bitch ass nigga. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, you stupid bitches. You're a fucking coward piece of shit. Fuck you. And if you didn't have a gun or a badge, I would beat the shit out of you. Take that fucking badge off and that fucking gun and see what happens. You shut the fuck up. Man, I'm fucking tough. You're a bitch. Get the fuck out, you fucking pussy. You fucking bitch ass white boys. I'll fucking spit on you. Fucking get out of here. Fuck out. Fuck out. Fuck out. Stay back here. Stay back. Fuck off. Stay back. Easy. Fuck off. Fuck off. Get the fuck out of here.
So the people that run that Target shouldn't have let them in. That's it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand, like, whether or not, like, the Target organization has any skin in this game or whatever. Target's, like, their brand sort of is, this is a nice place to go shopping. not like an expensive, nice place, right? That's sort of the thing, is that it's like, you know, Target has like a reputation for the stores being real clean and the staff being really friendly, and like, you know, it's not an expensive place to shop. It's, you know, reasonably priced place to shop. And then you let the fucking Gestapo come in, and now it's not a nice place to fucking shop anymore, is it? Like, it just isn't. And so like, they shouldn't be letting these people in there, because it doesn't fucking, you know, it doesn't do them any good. You know, and Target sort of stepped in it last year at 2025 by sort of kowtowing to like the Trump administration, and like, you know, the Targets they're like in the cities and dense suburbs. It's like, that's where they're real popular, right? And so they sort of lost like a lot of like goodwill with the community, and you know, that's the way it goes. Did you know that 90% of people love this guy, though? That's why when he went into fucking Target, like fucking everybody, that lady in the wheelchair was like, fuck ICE. Like everybody there was fucking not happy about this. But 90% of people love him, and the people in Target should just be nice.
Agents, unfortunately. But something else here as far as what happened in that Target store is truly I felt sorry for the public. And the reason for that, Sean, is by and large, 90% of the public are happy to see us.
This is where I fucking 90% of Shasta County is not happy. Get the fuck out of it. Where the fuck are 90% of people anywhere happy to see law enforcement? Like any kind of law enforcement. 90%. Nuh-uh. I think you got those numbers. You got that shit fucked up.
Like to engage with us. They like to talk with us and find out about our missions and what we do. A lot of people ask about recruitment and things like that. But when you have that very vocal 5%, it actually scares the public. And, you know, I actually felt sorry for the public in the Target store that day, because it actually scared them.
Now it's 5% of people don't like them. Now it's 5% don't like. Oh my God, no, nobody likes these people. Is this the polling is in, man. People don't like ICE. Like they're pretty soon. I think they're going to be give it a couple weeks. These motherfuckers are going to be underwater with the fucking Republicans. There's the road steamer. This guy got arrested for making fun of ICE in a giraffe outfit, dude. This guy is so fucking funny. And I guess they arrested him in Minnesota.
All right, they're not ready for primetime players. You got your super soakers, you got your fucking baloney. Where are we going? We want us over here? Oh, we got the power march. What are we doing here?
Leave the giraffe alone! Let him go! Free Robbie! Free Robbie! Free Robbie! Free Robbie! Free Robbie!
Dude, that guy's like super popular and funny, and like they just walked up and fucking arrested him because he was pissing them off. I mean, good for him though. If I don't know, man. I think a lot of these people that do these stunts and whatever are like not down to get arrested. And like that guy, I didn't know for sure. Like I think he's funny. I think he like what he does is effective. He's like, yeah, brother, protect the pedophiles and shit like that. He's very funny. Now that I know that he's down to fucking get arrested for this too. Fuck yeah, that guy's cool. That guy's cool. I assumed he was, but now we know that guy's like down to get thrown on the ground by these people and fucking arrested. Oh yeah, Hombre in chat asking what he's arrested for. Wearing a giraffe costume without a license. Giraffes are from Africa, I think, right? So maybe he was from Africa without his papers. I mean, obviously they were arresting him because he pissed them. He pissed them off. Here's Chuck Schumer. Boy, howdy, let me tell you, this guy's gonna take care of this for us. He's like, you know what? We just need to train these people better. Fucking Democrats. Everybody's like, these cars are driving through my fucking city and fucking people are jumping out and abducting my neighbors. And the fucking Democrats are like, well, we need to put some kind of identifier number on those cars, actually.
Senator Schumer, I have a question for you that you may or may not be able to answer, really. And here's the question. There's been a lot of Democrats who have stood on the floor of the Senate and outside the Senate complaining about and pointing out the inequity, the outrages that are taking place on the streets of Minneapolis today. Why haven't you gotten like a dozen Democratic senators and maybe a dozen New York City cops flown to Minneapolis, stood there in the crowds, and said to the guys wearing masks, we've brought people who know how to operate.
What the fuck? What kind of dumbass question is this?
We've brought people who know what law and order really means, and you are wrong and they are right, and that's why we're here.
You are so right. We have talked to police officers across the country and the police department in Minneapolis itself. And they know that these ICE agents are so totally untrained in police doctrine. They don't know what to do, how to do it, and it ends up even killing people and causing such mayhem that, yes, you are 100% right. We need our police officers across the country to tell ICE, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You need real police training.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York, again, the Democratic senatorial candidate.
We're gonna take some New York cops up there, and we're gonna be like, I'm walking here, and then we're gonna give them what for? What the fuck? What the? Yeah, they're poorly trained, but that's not really that's not the main problem. I'm glad they're poorly trained, right? If they were trained better, that wouldn't be good, would it? Marsha Blackburn wants to change the law around fraud and deportation so that we can just fucking deport more people. Just anybody. Let's change the law about fraud and deportation, shall we?
So there's a reason why ICE is surging into Minneapolis, as you know, because of the overwhelming fraud that recently came to light. I know you are leading your colleagues in introducing legislation to deport and denaturalize fraudsters, those who take advantage of American taxpayers. Can you tell us more?
Yes, indeed. What we would do is amend the Nationality and Immigration Act and make certain that all fraud, not only fraud above $10,000, but all fraud that is committed against the U.S. taxpayer and our government would be deemed as a deportable or a denaturalization offense. And right now, there are scattered portions of fraud, but it is not explicit that all fraud is deemed this way. And indeed, also, it would allow these individuals, once they're apprehended, to be held until their hearing, and it will allow any court, not just an immigration court, but any court to hear these cases. And the reason for doing this is because the American people have looked at what has happened in Minnesota with billions of dollars of fraud, and then we're hearing all across the country where whistleblowers are speaking up and are pointing out it's not only daycare centers, but it's elder care. It is programs that are there to assist people that are underserved. It is health care. And we are seeing this across the board. So this makes it easier to conduct those denaturalization processes and deportations.
Yes. This is really dumb. So first of all, like any court, like, does she mean like Judge Judy, like divorce court? Like, what is she talking about? Like, I think like, I don't know, like, this is America. This is a fucking fraud ass country. Everybody here be defrauding everybody here. So I don't understand like what her thing about fraud is. The thing in Minnesota she's talking about, the one that was in the billions of dollars, was actually prosecuted under the Biden administration. And the head of that fucking snake was a white lady. So, you know, take from that what you will. Here's Pete Hegseth, XAI, you know, the one that's making non-consensual sexualized images of mostly women, but also people under 18. It's now in the military. So that's good.
We're excited to announce the next frontier AI model company to join GenAI.mil. and that is Grok from XAI, which will go live later this month. So I want to thank you, Elon, and your incredible team for leaning forward with us on this as well. Very soon we will have the world's leading AI models on every unclassified and classified network throughout our department. Long overdue. To further that, today at my direction, we're executing an AI acceleration strategy that will extend our lead in military AI established during President Trump's first term. This strategy will unleash experimentation, eliminate bureaucratic barriers, focus on investments, and demonstrate the execution approach needed to ensure we lead in military AI and that it grows more dominant into the future.
This is a really bad idea. This is like such a bad idea. Not just the Grok, but this is just like a really bad idea. This technology is not like fully baked. So what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? All right, we're going to move on. We're done with the Minneapolis stuff. We're going to move on. Here is this is Mark Wayne Mullen on CNN. On my docket, I called this yes, but no, but also yes, because that's sort of what happened here. He's talking about potential regime change in Iran. Or is it, I think it's no, but yes, but no, but yes. I don't know what order it goes, but he contradicts himself in a short time here.
Well, I would support removing the regime that's killing their own people. Reports are coming out right now that the number could be 12,000 to 20,000.
Okay, so you're in favor of taking out the Iranian regime?
I am at this point. They're murdering their citizens. We're not into regime change. We're not. This isn't the Arab Spring like happened underneath Secretary Clinton. But this is the people of Iran standing up to a murderous regime. And if that leadership is going to kill their own people, the president said, we'll come to your rescue.
But you just said you are for regime change here.
No, I said...
You said before that you're for taking out the regime.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're the ones murdering their own people. That's different than regime change. The regime change is up to the Iranian people. We're not going actively to remove the regime. We're going after the people that are killing their own people, and that happens to be the regime.
But just
dude, motherfucker, what if you're gonna lie, at least be good at it.
You support taking out the supreme leader.
If he's the one that's calling these airstrikes or the killings of his own people, then absolutely.
Okay, but that would be regime change. At
that point, the Iranian people have spoke. They want a regime change. It's obviously they want regime
I love it. I love it. Like that fucking lady, I fucking keep forgetting her name too. I thought she was going to be a disaster at CNN. Collins, I think, Ms. Collins. I think it's Caitlin Collins. Is that right? I forget. Anyway, I thought she was going to be a disaster. She used to work for fucking Tucker Carlson or something at the Daily Caller, I think. And she's like one of the best interviewers at CNN. She's like unafraid of these people. She's like, but you just said a minute ago that you were fucking for regime change. Up next, did you know that the reason actually that the United States needs to acquire Greenland is because China or Russia is going to acquire Greenland, which I've never heard either fucking country say anything about it, but I guess that's why.
She's asking about Greenland, and I think the president was very clear last night. He said that he wants to see the United States acquire Greenland because he feels that if we do not, then it will eventually be acquired or even perhaps hostily taken over by either China or Russia, which is not a good thing for the United States or for Europe or for Greenland as well. Let's not forget, it would not just be in the best interest of the United States, but perhaps it would be in the best interest of Greenland as well to be part of the United States and protected by.
Would you want to make them a state?
I can't even finish my answer. Everybody's screaming. Go ahead, Mom.
This is bullshit. I don't think China wants to go fucking. Why? What? Like, maybe Russia's crazy. Like, Vladimir Putin's fucking crazy. Sure, if he thinks he could do it, maybe. But why the fuck would Xi Jinping want to fucking go take over Greenland? It just seems like more trouble than it's worth, right? It just seems like a big hassle. China doesn't need that shit. China is just busy making all your stuff and sending it to you. They're probably perfectly happy to do that. And I don't really think the Russian state has any interest in taking over Greenland either, because the reason they went after, I think one of the main reasons they went after Ukraine is because Ukraine isn't a NATO country, so it wouldn't have forced the NATO countries into it. Greenland is a protectorate of Denmark, and Denmark is part of the North Atlantic Treaty Alliance or whatever, to the extent that that still exists, or North Atlantic Treaty Organization to the extent that that still exists and matters. And so Russia doing that would be incredibly stupid. And so that's not going to happen either. So the only person that really wants to take over Greenland is Donald Trump, actually. And I think he just saw that it was big on a map and wanted it. I'm not kidding. I think he thinks there's fucking a lot of more oil there than there is. Any number of things, any number of reasons. Anyway, I don't think the GOP members of Congress are really too into this Greenland bullshit. I don't think they're going to do anything to try to stop it if Trump decides to go and do it. I just don't think they're that into it.
Stephen Miller to lose his job?
Look, either Stephen Miller needs to get into a lane where he knows what he's talking about or get out of his job. Look, the reason why I thought it was important for me to make a comment on the floor is I've been the Republican leader of the Senate NATO Observer Group since 2018. There is no more important alliance than the NATO alliance. And Denmark has punched above its weight. It came to Afghanistan, lost 43 soldiers on the ground, fought in some of the most contested regions, honoring their Article 5 commitment to the United States.
I think they lost more soldiers than any other country per capita.
Per capita, they did. And Jake, they were in among the NATO allies at the time. It was 30 nations. They were among the top 6. And think about all the nations bigger than them. So to have the prime minister suggest that they have to be prepared for some sort of action by the United States suggests to me that Mr. Miller does not know anything about the alliance, the importance of it. And, generals, I was on Senate Armed Services for 8 years, and generals would always say the same thing. The only thing worse than going to war with allies is going to war without allies. This alliance is critically important. Shaking that alliance sends a signal to Putin that he's winning, and Stephen Miller doesn't represent the U.S. government. He represents the Article 2 branch, and I, as a member of the U.S. Senate, get to weigh into this issue, and I know, whether they say it out loud or not, most of my colleagues agree with me.
So the thing is, this guy may think that he gets to. The thing is, though, because of the way that the things have happened, what do they call it? Unitary executive or whatever, right? The way that's been pushed over and over and over again. This guy doesn't really have a say, actually. The president can just send troops into Greenland. He fucking went and kidnapped, the Venezuelan leader. Didn't ask Congress about that. So if he decides to go into Greenland, what do you think? You're going to go ask for your permission? No, he's not. And then what are you going to do to stop him? Fucking nothing. That's what you're going to do because you a bitch. Like, you're all afraid of this guy for fucking no reason, actually. So up next, here is, this is fucking amazing. Maria Corina Machado, this week, I don't want to spend too much time on this. It's dumb. She gave Donald Trump the fucking award, fucking the little medal or whatever that she got for the Nobel Peace Prize, which, the more you look into her, I would suggest if people if people don't know much about her and like her party and whatnot, I would suggest you take a closer look at it. You might come to the conclusion that maybe she's not really the peace warrior that the Nobel Peace Prize might infer that you are. But then if you look at the Nobel Peace Prize over the last, I don't know how long, I mean, fucking Kissinger got it. So it's kind of like a useless fucking honorific that they give to fucking war criminals. But here's her talking about giving the president the fucking Nobel Peace Prize, which is weird.
Maria, did you offer to President Trump your Nobel Peace Prize?
I presented the President of the United States the medal of the Nobel Peace Prize, and I told him this, listen to this. 200 years ago, General Lafayette gave Simón Bolívar a medal with George Washington's face on it. Bolívar since then kept that medal for the rest of his life. Actually, when you see his portraits, you can see the medal there. And it was given by General Lafayette as a sign of the brotherhood between the United States, people of the United States and the people of Venezuela in their fight for freedom against tyranny. And 200 years in history, the people of Bolivar are giving back to the heir of Washington a medal, in this case a medal of the Nobel Peace Prize, for his unique commitment with our freedom.
There are a lot of fucking dumb shit libs on Blue Sky that are like, oh, well, she's a freedom fighter and she's good. I don't know why she did that. I'm like, man, you should get your news from somewhere other than the Nobel Committee on this lady. She has been calling for intervention by the U.S. in Venezuela for quite some time now, and that doesn't seem like peaceful. Doesn't seem super peaceful, actually. Suggesting that another country should depose by force the leader of your country is the opposite of peaceful. You're free to have that position. You're free to believe that, whatever. But I'm just not sure that that's worthy of what people think the Nobel Peace Prize is. But the Nobel Peace Prize generally just is there to like whitewash somebody's fucking bad behavior, so far as I can tell. Anyway, here's Brooke Rollins. She's a White House communications person. And this is, I have some thoughts on this. She's going to tell you how to eat for $3 a meal, but this is going to be like not the best advice, if you can imagine that. It's also on the Land of Misfit Anchors News Nation. So
I think the question you're asking, and it's a really important one, is while we're asking Americans to reconsider what they're eating, are we actually asking Americans, especially those who are living on the margins, are we asking them to spend more on their diet? And the answer to that is no. We've run over 1,000 simulations. It can cost around $3 a meal for a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, corn tortilla, and one other thing. And so there is a way to do this that actually will save the average American consumer money.
You've done the analysis on that, because that's one of the criticisms I heard from some nutrition folks who said, like with the event you mentioned, all the protein, saying, all right, well, steak obviously it's expensive. So are you asking people to spend more money with these new dietary guidelines than in the past? You say no?
That's right. And the answer to that is absolutely no. Now, there are, as most things are coming down, there are a few outliers. Beef has been one of them, but ground beef is coming down. But here's the real.
Okay, so anybody who cooks for themselves, you start doing some math and you could actually meal prep and eat pretty good for $3, right? But like a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, a tortilla, and then I don't know, something else that, like, what? Like, what's the tortilla for? If you have like a piece of chicken, you just put the piece of chicken on the tortilla. Like something else, maybe some black beans or something to put on the tortilla. Like, this is shit. This is garbage. You can meal prep. You can do if you cook things from scratch and you have like decent like cheap grocery stores nearby. You can cook for $3 a meal and you can eat pretty fucking good, actually. You could have a sandwich for lunch. You can have granola for breakfast. Like you could use chicken. You could use pork. You can make pulled pork for dinner. You can make pulled pork sandwich. You could do all kind of shit. And you could spend about $3 a meal, but not like this. This strikes me as somebody who's never cooked. Like, we're going to have a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, a tortilla, and something else. All right, lady. All right. Just tell us that you don't prepare your own food and either haven't done so in a very long time or have never done it actually at all. Just say that. I don't know what y'all are talking about. I have a chef is like the real answer here. I mean, think of this, like with a crock pot, with like $10 worth of ingredients. Think of the giant fucking crock pot of fucking delicious ass soup you could make, and you get that shit down to $2 a fucking meal. But it's not a chicken, a broccoli, a tortilla, and something else. It's fucking way better. Yeah, one piece of broccoli. Broccoli's not that expensive, and chicken isn't that expensive either. You could have like chicken's like $2 a pound when it goes on sale for boneless, skinless chicken breast. Like I can get like, you could have, but like a piece of chicken. Does she mean like a leg, a thigh? Does she mean like a breast? Like, what is the something else? What is the something else? Is it a beer? Because now you've blown your budget if it's a fucking beer. Here's Maria Bartiromo going, you're getting heat on social media saying you can eat healthy for $3. Some people say, how am I supposed to get a piece of chicken for under $3? Well, lady, you can get a piece of, like, Like, just go to Food Max or fucking Grocery Outlet or something. You can get, sometimes the legs and like the chicken quarters are like 99 cents a pound. You can get a piece of chicken for $3, lady. You just fucking be getting, these people they're just so disconnected from reality.
And you've done a wonderful job in terms of communicating how to do this and in a healthy way. But look, Secretary, you're getting heat all over social media for saying that you can eat healthy for $3. And some people say, well, how am I supposed to get a piece of chicken for under $3? You're trying to make this affordable as well. But sometimes eating healthy is not so affordable, right?
Well, it is interesting, the pushback. I think the pushback is probably because the left, the Democrats don't have much more to say other than that. But, you know, chicken, poultry, vegetables, fruits, when you eat healthy, it actually is less expensive in many ways, depending on what you choose, less expensive than if you buy a fast food meal or if you eat a bag of Doritos or chips and have an energy drink. And that's really what we're trying to focus on here. And of course, the back end and the health benefits of all of it is really incredible. So we'll be putting more information out on that today. You'll see we've got hundreds of simulations that show that and different ways to put it together.
Again, yeah, but the Maria Bartiromo going, where do you get a piece of chicken for under $3? Well, lady, do you mean like at a restaurant? Well, no. But yeah. Even if you buy the overpriced fucking that Foster Farm shit. Yeah, like you get, like, if you buy a pack of legs, they're under $3. You buy a pack of thighs, they're under $3 for each one. It's still overpriced, but but get the fuck out of here. These people don't shop, they don't cook, they don't know anything. And again, like, if you have a $3 budget, like, for every meal, you can do it. You can eat pretty fucking well, actually. If you buy in bulk, plan ahead, fucking always have rice and beans in the fridge. My God, there's tons of great ways. Fucking buy produce on sale. Like, you could fucking absolutely eat for cheap and eat pretty well. It's just labor intensive. Like, if you want to get down to it, and you could trad wife it up like me, and, you know, spend a little money on or in this case, have your chat buy you a bread maker or whatever. Buy a bread maker, and now your loaf of bread's down from fucking $3 to like 80 cents. Well, you do all kind of shit to make food cheap. It's just a lot of it's like labor intensive, and you need time, and people don't always have time. Anyway, here is RFK Jr. Now we're talking about your health. He's on the Katie Miller show, and he's going to talk about how a good mother just doesn't trust the experts. Why would a good mother listen to people who know what the fuck they're talking about?
But what I would say to people is do your own research. That, you know, this idea that you should trust the experts, a good mother doesn't do that. A good mother, when you buy a car, you look at the Yelp reviews. When you go, you know, or you go to Consumer Reports, and everybody does research on that as well. The most important decisions you're making are about your children's health. And when you buy a baby carriage, you make sure, or a baby seat for your automobile, you look at the Consumer Reports, you look at the Yelp report, you do your own research.
Wait, he said, what do we, consumer, those are experts. Those people are expert. Consumer Reports is actually pretty good. They usually have like good information about products generally. They don't take any advertising. What do you mean? Those are experts. You're trusting experts when you go to Consumer Reports. All right. So did you know that 100% of rental demand in New York City and California is from illegal immigration? That's right. I am not sitting here in an apartment right now. I am not part of the demand for rentals in California.
Over 12 million illegal aliens coming across our border has literally strained our housing supply, caused affordability to go up. 100% of rental demand in California and in New York is because of illegal immigration. Over 60% of that across our nation. And so what we've done here at HUD is to ensure—
I'm sorry, what?
Taxpayer funds go to illegal aliens when it comes to our FHA mortgage program. We signed a memorandum of understanding, a data sharing agreement with Department of Homeland Security to make sure that everyone that lives in HUD-funded housing is indeed an American citizen. We have—
Did this guy just said that 100% of the demand for rental property in California is from illegal immigration. But his words, right? His words, like people here without their papers or whatever. And that across the land, across this great, once great, never great nation of ours, 60% of demand for rental is for he would use his words, illegal immigration, people who are here without their papers. I'm just wondering where the fuck everybody else lives. Is there anybody here who's here legally, according to this guy? Because a lot of people rent. What an amazing thing to go on fucking TV and say. Just all the renters, just anybody who's renting in California, fucking here without their papers. Up next, we got more wild statements from people. Did you know that windmills will allow our enemies, the enemies of the United States, to do massive drone attacks? How? The windmills block the radar.
And if you want to launch an attack on our population centers, I'm not giving away a hint, but the way you would do it is you'd come through one of these large, and I say large, covering thousands and thousands of acres of offshore, as close as 15 to 20 miles offshore. We could have an enemy swarm drone attack, into a place like the Northeast before we even knew it. So we're taking a hard look at this thing, and we're meeting with the developers.
Does that mean they're done, though? It sounds like you're saying they're done, because now what the fear is, Mr. Secretary, is that you've got these half-finished wind turbines that are going to sit in the ocean, and if they're abandoned, they're just going to kind of sit there and rot and look bad and be environmentally unsound. What's going to happen now? Are you saying it's not going to be, they're all 5 are over?
Well, all 5 are under review because they all fall under this new national security review, but we're holding meetings with each of those developers and trying to find if there's a way where we can mitigate, share some of the findings, that some of those are still confidential reports, in terms of having to get security clearances to share that, but we'll get through that. We'll share the information. And if we can find ways to mitigate it, we can. Yep. But when you talk,
this is amazing. They've been talking about this for a while, right? That the wind farms, they block the radar. This is dumb. This is fucking dumb. I don't think anybody's buying it. And I would assume that an experienced radar operator would be aware of the windmill farm, and they would probably understand the difference and be able to spot things that are moving on the radar, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know shit about radar or operating military radar. Up next. So Trump said that they were going to cap interest rates on credit cards at 10%, but you know how they're going to do it? The credit card companies are just going to do it. They're just going to give you a Trump card just because they fucking want to give you the Trump card.
This 10% cap on credit card interest rates obviously has the banks talking, and a lot of them are very worried about this. This new potential card cap could wipe out the earnings from the card portfolios for a year. Those are the expectations there. If applied to all cards, analysts say it would hurt large bank pre-tax earnings by between 5 and 18%, and wipe out earnings for the monolines like a Cap One Financial. Your thoughts on the president putting this in place? Obviously, Congress would have to codify this for law. Will these banks be forced to follow this?
Well, I think, we've been in conversations with the big banks, with CEOs of many of the big banks, who think that the president's onto something, that he's got a great idea that they could potentially voluntarily provide for people who are in that sort of sweet spot of not having financial leverage very much because they don't have access to credit, but they have enough income and stability in their lives so that they're worthy of credit. And so our expectation is that it won't necessarily require legislation because there'll be really great new Trump cards presented for folks that are voluntarily provided by the banks.
Oh my God. These are people who don't already have a credit card. And he's like, they just don't have access to credit. So they don't already have a credit card. Now the bank is going to give them one at 10%. You probably got to fucking sign a loyalty pledge to Donald Trump. There's going to be some whack shit. Or you're going to sign away all of your privacy. Or your credit card's going to display ads. Something. So, this is really interesting. This guy's DeCopel. This is the guy at CBS that Barry Weiss put as like the anchor for CBS Evening News. And well, here's Trump telling this guy that if Trump wasn't president, that this fucking guy wouldn't have a job. And I think that is true. I think that they wouldn't have hired Barry Weiss, and Barry Weiss wouldn't have put this hack in if Trump wasn't the president.
The economy, while we have you here, the inflation numbers came out. Overall, not bad, but grocery prices.
No, overall, very good. Good for us. Good for our country. Joe Biden had the highest inflation numbers in history, correct?
The direction.
I have them down to a level that they haven't seen in about 9 years.
And Mr. President, help me understand. When I travel the country and I go all over the place and I talk to everyday Americans, they tell me they don't feel it because grocery prices
they might not,
are up.
but they're going to now. I've only been here for 11 months, okay? And, you know, the first few months were really rough, if you look at them, because I inherited a mess. I inherited a mess of crime. I inherited a mess of inflation. I inherited a mess of places closing up and going to other countries. And now we have the hottest country in the world. Tony, we have now the hottest country in the world. And a year and a half ago, our country was dead. We had a dead country. You wouldn't have a job right now. If she got in, you probably wouldn't have a job right now.
Well, not this job. That's true.
He's an amazing guy. Might be bust. Okay?
Might be
That's
what?
how bad. Might be bust. I doubt it in his case, but you'd never know. Let me just tell you, you wouldn't have this job. You wouldn't have this job, certainly whatever the hell they're paying you. Our country is rocketing right now. We have the hottest country in the world. If they got in, we would be Venezuela on steroids.
Mr. President, I'm just trying to be fair here, just trying to do my job, and I want to talk about this assembly line here.
Just trying to, but you are doing your job. Your job is to kiss the ass of the president and let him just talk. You're doing your job, friend. You're doing your job. That's your job. That's why Barry Weiss put you there. Barry Weiss really, really, really likes rich people. Really, really, and knows how to talk to rich people too. That's how she got where she is. Here is from the U.S. Federal Reserve. This is Jerome Powell talking about how he's being investigated, I guess, for not lowering the interest rates the way the fucking president told him to. Fucking insane.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
I mean, fuck the Federal Reserve chair, right? It's not like he's some fucking hero, but yeah, I mean, like the president, like this, I don't like it. They're running by like they're running renovations to their building like by Congress. Like he's telling the truth, right? They're just fucking mad at him because he wouldn't lower the rates when Trump told him to. I mean, I don't know. Is he going to get black bagged? Maybe. I don't know if people are going to be super, super upset if they fucking black bag the fucking Federal Reserve chair, but it's bad. It's like not great. Anyway, here, everybody, I don't know if there's people here who are like all on board with Gavin Newsom or whatever, but everybody, this is your leader getting the runaround from twerp ass Ben Shapiro and just letting Ben do it.
Democrats have now been dragged into this conversation. Some dragged, some run with, flags waving into the conversation.
This notion of genocide.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Israel did not commit a genocide in Gaza. There is no standard by which Israel committed a genocide in Gaza, just on a factual level.
Just as a legal and factual level.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of this?
My opinion is I understand the tendency for people to make that, to assert that.
Why?
On the basis of the images and the proportionality as it relates
doesn't mean genocide.
No. And by the way, I agree with you.
And international and proportionality doesn't mean that if you kill my child.
So like whether the subject matter here isn't that important. It's that it's an important subject matter. Don't get me wrong here. But the fact that like he's on Gavin Newsom's fucking show and he's controlling the conversation and interrupting Gavin and like kind of scolding Gavin Newsom here. And Gavin Newsom's just letting him do it. Gavin Newsom is a fucking skilled politician and could have his way with Ben Shapiro, like in this scenario, if he wanted to.
Right.
And I then kill 7 criminals that I've been disproportionate.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think but I understand that tendency on the basis of trying to reconcile the proportionate nature of how the war was ultimately conducted and the devastation.
I have a question. Why do you feel the need to create a permission structure for that sort of stuff? I mean, meaning it's not true.
Yeah, like a permission structure for people to believe that it's a genocide. We don't need fucking Gavin Newsom's permission to believe that something is a genocide. He's not creating a permission structure for me to hold a belief.
Say it's not true.
Yeah, I don't know the definition, or I don't know the legal threshold. That's not my opinion, so I don't share that opinion as it relates to genocide. I do not agree with that notion.
But you do understand that if you accuse Israel of committing a genocide, that now puts Israel in the position of it should be a pariah state, because states that commit genocide should be pariah states. Yeah. So granting legitimacy to that position inherently,
I'm not granting legitimacy. I'm just saying the devastation in Gaza at the human level.
So the way to do this is to be like, people don't need my permission to have a fucking opinion, Ben. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? This guy's just letting like little twerp ass Ben Shapiro like run all over him on his own fucking show. Like, this is embarrassing. I don't know. He's got a bad take on Gaza too, clearly. But if he's just like, hey, most of the people in my party don't see it that way, and they think that this is the way that it is. They think that it's a genocide, and I don't get to. It's not my job to decide what they think, Ben. Like, my God, like why can't you even have this fucking answer?
Got 4 kids.
Of course, it's terrible.
No, but I think it's also important to absorb that a little bit more. Just as it was sick, and we were clear in our condemnation, these people like me, as it relates to what Hamas did in that act of barbarism and terrorism.
Yeah, but there's a difference between deliberate terrorism and wartime collateral damage, of course. And if we refuse to acknowledge that reality, then we end up equating
collateral damage. I have stronger opinions. It wasn't just collateral.
Really, you think that Israel is targeting civilians?
I think some of the double tapping issues. I have a lot of issues with how Bibi ultimately conducted the war. I personally do, and I have a lot of issues that are also painted on the basis of the conversation I had with him a few weeks later after October 7th. The way he talked about the Palestinians, I kept talking about Hamas. He kept talking about the Palestinians. I kept coming back to Hamas, and then ultimately how the war was conducted. Not saying it was a genocide. I'm not. But I have issues.
What is the thing that he said that you particularly?
There was a dehumanization. I didn't like the way he talked about the Palestinian people. I just didn't.
Well, what is the specific?
They can't come. I didn't. The specific. I don't want to get into the details.
The reason I'm asking is because when you suggest that he is conflating Hamas and the Palestinians,
he wasn't conflating.
Of course, it does lead to the conclusion.
They were different. It wasn't. No. It was. I'm just saying the way he ultimately conducted it. I look back at that conversation. I reflect on that conversation. It doesn't surprise me. And I did not think it was proportionate.
Okay.
And I thought it was overwhelming, and the devastation and destruction, breaks my heart.
Okay. So you're president of the United States. Somebody invades from Mexico. They take several thousand American citizens.
I get it.
But that's not going to happen. Homie, Mexico, they love us. They're our friends, Ben.
hostage.
By the way,
they hold them all the way until the end of the war, until the end.
Wait a minute. No, Ben, we're not occupying. I mean, I guess you could say maybe that California, that we've occupied, like we've taken shit from Mexico, but that was a long time ago. We're not like, what the fuck? We're not occupying Mexico yet. If we start occupying parts of Mexico, well, yeah, actually, even Rumsfeld understands that. It's called blowback.
There are hostages being held.
Don't get me wrong on any of this. I'm with you in terms of the ultimate accountability and bringing the hostages home. I like the clarity and conviction as it relates to getting all the hostages dead and alive home, and all of that. I'm not denying that.
And by the way, Hamas still has not been extirpated in the areas where Israel has left them.
You can't.
And clearly this truce and détente is still a work in progress. There's been a lot of destruction.
Well, because Hamas was supposed to be disarmed, and they didn't.
Look, I'm crystal clear about Hamas.
But the point is that
crystal clear about Hamas.
Right, but the point is that I think,
and I'm also crystal clear in my love for Israel and my condemnation of Bibi. And there's a distinction. I condemn Donald Trump. I love my country.
You just got rolled by a twerp. You just got, like, Gordon Gekko just got rolled by the twerpiest motherfucker in the world on his own show. He couldn't even just tell Ben. He's like, what do you talk? The other people in my party who believe that this is a genocide because of what they've seen and what the numbers are. I don't personally, he could say, I don't know why he wouldn't believe that, because he basically walked all the way up to saying that it was, a genocide without saying it was a genocide. He's like, I don't like the Benjamin Netanyahu who killed all these people. It seemed disproportionate. But the thing there is, like, if you can't fucking stand up to Ben Shapiro on your own fucking show, when he starts like at you, then how the fuck are you supposed to run for president against the Republican Party in 2028? He's not going to be. He's going to fucking just like try to agree with them about everything, and he's going to lose. He's not going to be the nominee. This guy's so out of step with the average Democrat. Like, people are going to start seeing this stuff and being like, why are you like he didn't. I don't know why he didn't just tell Ben. He's like, hey man, I don't control what other people think. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, why are you asking me why I'm not stopping other people from believing something? Like, what just why does he like, I mean, I don't think he's a right winger. I don't think he's not a fucking leftist. I think he's like a shit lib. I think he's the shittiest shit lib that ever done shit libbed. But you could, like, he goes, hey, I'm a Democrat. I may run for president as a Democrat, and the vast majority of the people in my party think that what they saw was ethnic cleansing or a genocide, and I'm going to have to represent those people because those are the people I'm representing. Ben, I don't know, like, what the fuck? Why does this guy, as soon as he sits down with one of these fucking ghouls, it was Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk and now Ben Shapiro, he's like, actually, I agree with everything you're saying. Does he think he's going to get like people in the fucking heartland to vote for him because of that? No, they're not going to vote for the fucking guy who did the gay marriages. And no, they're not going to vote for him. His only path to victory is through like the liberal cities. That's his only path to victory. And doing this just alienates people in the cities who know who and what the fuck Ben Shapiro is. It's like he didn't prepare to talk to Ben Shapiro. It's crazy. Anyway, up next, we got Groyper Kyle Langford is no longer running for California governor. I guess he's going to run for state senate or something. Oh, hold on. Fucking Facebook. Facebook video is the worst player out of all of them.
What's up, everyone? I'm out here in Santa Monica, and I just wanted to say that I am going to be redirecting my campaign from governor to U.S. Congress.
Oh, U.S. Congress.
House of Representatives seat 26, which will be open, and I will be running as a Democrat. What's up,
what?
Everyone? I'm out here.
What? You're going to be running as a... Oh, dude, this is going to be a disaster. We got to keep an eye on this guy trying to run. Like, if he's in if he's in, where do you say he was at? Santa Monica. So that's going to be like a fucking solid. It's going to be like a left. That's a left. I mean, all of them are after the new gerrymander, but that's like, he's in like a pretty liberal fucking area. This is going to be fun. I think he's hoping that because he'll have a D next to his name, even though the party's clearly not going to endorse him, he's hoping to like possibly win just because he's like, his name is like Kyle Langford and it seems like a normal person's name or whatever. We're going to keep an eye on this though. This is going to be wild. Up next, we got a couple more stories before we go into red light here. I think we might be under the 2 hour mark tonight, which is amazing. This is great value. Matt Walsh. I forget his actual name. We can look up his name here. Just as Christian nationalist pastor. Fucking, I don't know. We call this guy Great Value Matt Walsh around here. He's going to talk about women, and this is a little. This is not great.
Wives, submit to your husbands in everything. Everything is what the Bible teaches, and it is a sense of fear and trembling, and awe is the disposition of deference that the wife is to maintain towards her husband as she seeks to submit to him as the church submits to Christ, not only in things she agrees with, but in everything. She belongs to him. He owns her. Now he should own her.
Oh my fucking God.
Lovingly, charitably. There's lots that could be said about the manner in which a Christian man owns his house, owns his wife, owns his children, owns his possessions, his resources. We can say a lot about Christian ownership and how to do that, not lording it over those in your charge, but rather, so we can talk about that. But that doesn't take away from the primary point, which is it is still ownership. She belongs to him. In fact, you can't even break, this is quite a statement, but I think it's true. I'm going to make it. You actually can't covet a woman. You can't break the 10th commandment as it pertains to a woman. You really can only covet a man because the man is the one who actually has ownership. It's him owning his bride, him owning his house, him owning his resources, him owning the children, right? They're seated each night at his table. It's not just our table. No, it's my table. My table, that the children and wife are gathered round, the fruit of his lineage, his name, his legacy. That's the language that the Bible uses, and that has become utterly foreign to modern Christian ears, to where, as we even articulate it in today's episode, I have no doubt that many will be enraged.
Yeah, because most Christians are cool. Because they're just people. They're not fucking freaks like this guy. Yeah, most people, like, they go to church, or they don't even go to church, and they just call themselves Christian. It's not for me to fucking decide, right? Certainly not for him to decide who gets to be Christian either. Yeah, most people who are Christian, actually, they're cool. They're your neighbors and shit, and they treat their wives well, and like they go to work, and their wife works, and like they're just most of them are cool, actually. That guy's crazy, though. He's like, you own this lady. Well, no, you don't. That's like horrible, right? Like, this guy watched The Handmaid's Tale and was like, well, I don't know. That one lady wouldn't have lost her eye if she would have just listened. Like, what the fuck? All right, we got two more. We got one. Joe Rogan is like, wait a minute. Why? I've told you to vote for this guy who said he was going to do these things. Why is he doing these things that he said he was going to do? And I told you to vote for him.
You don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
Yes, and you told everybody to vote for it. Yes, actually, yeah, Joe. Yeah, you told everybody to vote for it. Joe, this guy needs to do a mea culpa. If this guy ever wants to be like respected by normal fucking people, he needs to just be like, this is partially my fault. He's like, I fucking leaned into this stuff, and this is partially my fault. Short of that, fuck Joe Rogan. I don't care. He's like, oh, it seems really bad. They're doing the Gestapo thing that they said they were going to do when I told you to vote for him. Fuck Joe Rogan. Speaking of people that can go fuck themselves, we got one last clip. This is Elon Musk, clearly not understanding Star Trek. Just does not understand Star Trek. I'm not a Trekkie myself, but I have some baseline understanding of Star Trek and what Star Trek's about. Elon, not so much.
And I'll tell you a little bit just about the purpose of SpaceX. It's like, we want to make Star Trek real.
Except without all the socialism and equality, and not based in San Francisco.
Okay. We want to make Starfleet Academy real, so that it's not always science fiction, but one day the science fiction turns to science fact. And we have spaceships going through space, big spaceships, with people going to other planets, going to the moon, and ultimately going beyond our star system to other star systems, where we may meet aliens or discover long-dead alien civilizations. I don't know, but we want to go, and we want to see what's happening, and we want to have epic, futuristic spaceships with lots of people in them, traveling to places we've never been to before. Yeah, that's that's the goal.
Well, I mean, this guy thinks he's Howard Hughes, and I agree, he's Howard Hughes, but he's Howard Hughes at the end of Howard Hughes' career. But at least Howard Hughes had the fucking good sense to like lock himself in his apartment and not fucking talk to anybody, as he lost his fucking mind, right? Oh no! Holy shit, man! Fucking Elon Musk is like possibly the worst person in the world. He's got some fucking competition, but he's up there. He like does not like Star Trek. Like he wouldn't exist in Star Trek, right? Because there's no money in the way that we think. I think there's currency that you can exchange for like things like a drink or something, right? Like on the bar on the fucking starship or whatever. But you don't need that currency. Isn't what you use. Like even if you're on land on the earth, you don't use that currency to pay your rent. You don't use it for anything, right? I think it's just literally for like things like I don't know. I'm not sure about it, but I know that like in the Star Trek universe, money doesn't exist the way that we think about money in our current world, right? You don't have to pay your fucking rent. There's no really, it doesn't exist really. It's a thing that doesn't happen anymore. We've decided that that's stupid. And I agree, actually. I agree with that part about Star Trek, that it is actually really stupid. That I have to pay anybody money to live in this tiny apartment is ridiculous. But anyway, things aren't going to get better in red light, folks. If you stick around, which I hope you do, I think most people here probably like the red light part best, actually. This is something the Pentagon somehow is going to end up in red light. I don't know how the Pentagon ended up in red light, but Alex Jones, they're randomly attacking white people. We got Alex Jones and Nick Fuentes telling you about women, and Nick Fuentes then talking about arranged marriages. We have something weird that somebody put in the Discord that I don't entirely understand. It's a message to the CEO of Reddit. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. It looked like something we should deal with here. We have Candace Owens claims Charlie Kirk was a fucking time traveler. And then there was that Jake Lang hate rally that we may watch some of because we have footage from that. So everybody, thanks for hanging out during the show. If you're listening on the podcast, come join the show live sometime. It's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media or $5 a month at eplex.store or patreon.com/Echoplex, and you get the entire audio and video of the show sent right to your inbox. I would say the next morning, but that's a lie. It would be the next afternoon. Anyway, if you're watching live, you know the drill. Stick around. This is Boomers by Periscope, and I'll be back. The lights will be red, and I will have an alcoholic beverage.